Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. Guess what time it is? It's They Made What into a Movie. As we return to the House of the Dead franchise. Yes, if you didn't know, there's a second film. Now, it's arguable whether or not this is a video game movie adaptation. In the sense that it's House of the Dead 2. It is not an adaptation of the game House of the Dead 2. It is a sequel to The House of the Dead. The original movie that was by Uwe Boll and one of the worst video game movie adaptations I personally have ever seen.
Yeah.
Not the worst, you know. I think Alone in the Dark might take that. More recently... God, what else was it more recently that we kind of really hated? Slipped out of my mind now.
Doom, we done Doom, didn't we?
Yeah, Doom sucks as well.
Yeah.
But House of the Dead is bad. But it's at times so bad it's good. It's that kind of elements.
I don't know about being good. I mean, I was just laughing about how shit it was. Honestly,
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the original being so
sorry.
bad it's good.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that, there's, at moments are so bad it's good. Just think back to the Graveyard Battle.
Oh, yeah.
That is so fucking bad. You can almost be entertained by how bad that is. You know?
I suppose, yeah.
But that's not a defense of it in any way. I think it's terrible. I think this is worse. I think this sequel is worse. Mm-hmm. And I think this sequel is so much worse because of this. It doesn't have any of that so bad it's good. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking boring. It is so boring that I genuinely am amazed. Like, I think you had to work to make it this boring. How could you have made a zombie film this boring?
Boring, it's stupid.
Oh, it's stupid as fuck.
The cast were terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. The graphics, the zombies were horrible.
The graphics, they're not doing the game.
Sorry, not graphics.
The effects.
The effects were terrible.
The graphics is a game anyway, absolutely. Why not? We're just going to call it that from now on. The graphics of this film.
Exactly. And when we get to a scene, which we'll cover.
Well, we're going to cover all the scenes, there are plenty that I want to scream and shout about as well.
Was this Uwe Boll again?
Nope, no it was not. This film was directed by Michael Hurst. Uwe Boll was committed to another project. I believe it was a Brrraains movie? Brrraains or In the Name of the King. One of those he was committed to. However, apparently he did wish them well in the production and all stuff like that. I wonder I'd love to get his opinion on what he thought of it, if he ever saw it and what he thought of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, did he think it was good, or not? He probably would have thought it was good. He's a hack. It's House of the Dead 2, alternatively titled House of the Dead 2 Dead Aim. I have seen it. I watched it under that title, but I mostly know it as just House of the Dead 2.
That's why it confused me, because I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm typing in House of the Dead 2, nothing's coming up, and I spotted this one there, so I thought, that's got to be it.
It's it, yeah. You should have messaged me. Just message me if you're not shy. I confirmed it. Came out in 2005 and is considered an action horror film. And as already said, a sequel to the 2003 horror film House of the Dead. Of course, it is based on the video game series of the same name and, of course, the original 1996 video game. Here's the thing. This is not... That's because it's House of the Dead 2. This is not based on a House of the Dead game. It has got nothing at all to do with those games. It's just a sequel to a film that was an adaptation, but also had nothing to do with the fucking games. It's a mess. It's a mess. The film is directed by Michael Hurst. The cast, we have a pretty big cast. Amazingly, we have a big cast where I struggle to remember anyone's names. It was a nightmare. But we have Emmanuel Vogger as Alex Nightingale Morgan. Nightingale, or Alex as she's referred to. Ed Quinn as Lieutenant Jake Ellis. Arguably up there as one of the worst things in this movie, personally. But take closely followed by Sticky Fingers as Sergeant Dalton. Who, I mean, we'll get to him. Stephen Rowe as O'Connor, Victoria Pratt as Lieutenant Alison Henson, James Parks as Bart, Dan Southworth as Nagawaka, Billy Brown as Griffin, Nadine Velasquez as Private Maria Rodriguez, Ellie Cornell as Colonel Jordan Casper. We're going to stop there. So you might think, if you know the original well, wait, Ellie Cornell as the person that was in the first film, who also played the character Casper. Yes, not only is she in this reprising her role, but apparently it's a brand new role of the same character, not making any reference to her being involved in the first film, even though this film will tie itself into the original later on. She just is in this as a different character with the same name. Because I was like, wait, is that Casper? She died. How does this work? But then they don't reference it.
I must have completely missed that.
Yep.
It must have gone over my head.
She's in like 2 fucking scenes at the start of the movie.
Okay, yeah.
It's only because I recognise Ellie Cornell's name, because obviously she was such a major part. Do you remember her in the original? You know, she was. She was the police boat captain.
Okay, yeah.
The one who gets her legs ripped off.
Oh, yeah.
At the end. So she died. So I figured what they were doing here was a weird tribute to the Return of the Living Dead Part 1 and 2. Of course, 2 characters return in Return of the Living Dead Part 2, playing different characters, but following the same sort of roles that they did in the original.
Okay, I'll be good.
However, Return of the Living Dead knew what they were doing, and even have a jokey reference in the second film where one of them goes, I'm getting a serious case of deja vu. I feel like we've been through this before. That was clever. That was clever. This is just baffling because they don't acknowledge it, they don't reference it, and she's not in the rest of the film. So I was confused as fuck.
So she's got a big paycheck.
No, she did not. No one get paid big bucks for this movie. No fucking way. And of course, like, I feel it's worth mentioning as well, because what makes it extra baffling is that for ages, and for most of this movie's runtime, you'll be like, this is not related to the first film. It's just a completely standalone thing with zombies.
Yep.
And then suddenly, we find out it is massively related, like hugely related.
Yep.
We'll get to that when we get to it. I had to rewatch that part 4 or 5 times to get all the details right as I was typing, because I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And then I had to go back and check, because I was like, is that the same actress? I don't think it is. And then it isn't, but anyway. And then we've also Sid Haig as Professor Kurian. Yeah, I know. You're like, wait, didn't Kurian already exist? Wasn't he the big monster of the first one?
Yep.
And then you could be like, but also, wasn't the kid that survived at the end, sorry, because Kurian wasn't the monster. Kurian was revealed as the guy who survives at the end. Yeah. So this is actually a tie-in that, while initially confusing, I think works okay. Because it's implying, okay, he's his father, as it will do later on. At least I didn't think at the time. Early on in the movie, you're like, wait, he's Professor Kurian? Professor Kurian, he's a teacher?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, we'll buy into that. But it is Sid Haig. And even when he's not trying, Sid Haig was wonderful. The late, great Sid Haig has been in many movies I've adored. I always pleased to see him. He died a few years ago. He's great. He does a small bit in this, but he's got such a unique look. He always stands out. Marisa Monroe as Sarah Curtis, Cam Powell as Lonnie Evans, and Daniela Bergio as Alicia. There's the cast. Yep. That last one he met go, oh, okay. Well, if you know your House of the Dead.
Yeah, but I mean, already, when I saw him at a cast, my first thing said to me, okay, so half of these going to die.
More than half, yeah.
Yeah, so straight away, we've got a big cast, because what they're going to do, typical film, we're going to kill off all the least important characters and keep the main.
I wouldn't mind that, because that's fine. We need fodder in a zombie movie, that's fine. My problem is there's so many survived for such a long time, and I know nothing about these people except, well, hoorah! We're in the army. No, we're special forces, and some of the worst special forces I've ever seen. I mean, the body armor alone is so hilariously dumb. But we'll get to this bit. Right, we begin seeing a lot of kids, teenagers, pretending to be army men, and immediately you're off to a bad start. The music is so generic, army, like that. It's just like, fuck off. The acting, it's so bad, and immediately, it feels almost straight away like you're watching a kind of joke movie. And you know where this is going, because you look at him going, well, none of you are an army, you're too young, but also you're dressed like shit. That ain't the army. And the way he's talking, man, this will be the most difficult mission of your life. And you know it's something dumb, and of course it is. It's a fraternity, and they've all got water pistols. They're freshmen attacking the nearby sorority house. One of them, pretending to be a pizza boy, knocks on the door, and then goes, "You've tried the rest, now try the best," and then pulls his dick out. And I was like, this movie is off to the worst start possible. The way the line is delivered, the fact that apparently it's hilarious that he's exposing himself to women like that, like a sexual assault, dude.
Of course.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'd forgotten it. I've seen this movie once before for a review on the site many years ago, and I'd forgotten this intro. I'd forgotten it all. I remember my majority memories of this movie was some of the bits on the campus later on, And that was it. That was all I could remember. Didn't even remember the ending.
Seen it once and I will never watch it again.
Yes, but not only that as well. When he gets his dick out, we know we're supposed to find it funny. Do you know why? Because the music gets all teeny bopper, American Pie. Yeah, I'm playing my guitar. Yeah, we're running around spraying the girls who all conveniently are wearing super skimpy tops with no bras on. I'd started to wonder, is this like a shit commercial? Like, we're going to transition, and is this a shit commercial on TV? Because the line deliveries are so bad, as a woman goes, she gets sprayed and goes, lager or light, don't, and he says, like, it's light. She's like, don't stop, fill me up, soldier. And I was like, this has got to be like a shitty advert. It's got to be like, buy light beer from your local shop, you know? But it's not. This is generally supposed to be a seriously funny start. Honestly, hilarious. Cut immediately, the slap bang, just boom! Ignore that, jarring, here's some tits, fake tits bouncing up and down as some guy is getting dry humped. It's one of those where we want some boobs, but we're also not going to be that graphic, which is weird because we're going to get to something in a moment. And he's just getting dry humped where it's supposed to look like they're having sex, but it's just like, who has sex with their clothes on? Also, that's his belly button. Like, come on, man, it's one of those really stupid. But one of these twatty guys, freshman, runs aside, goes in the bedroom, takes a picture, and then steals her knickers. And I was just like, you know what? This is just gross now. Now that's gross, right? That ain't funny. That's just gross. Like, taking a picture's one thing, because it will turn out to be a plan for the guy that's getting dry humped. But, like, you're stealing her knickers? What are you going to do with that, you fucking weirdo?
It's supposed to be like, this is a college, freshman kid, college kids being in the street, but like, sort of, as you said, like the American Pie sort of
stuff. Of course, 100%. Look at the year, 2005.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just,
it's awful. It's not how I want my horror movie to start. No. She gets mad, blames the guy she was dry humping, and it's revealed that yes, they're his pledges, and that he may have staged this whole thing. The guys think it's hilarious as she runs out humiliated and embarrassed. Oh, Ron, you guys, what jokers you are. You know, hilarious. Anyway, outside she gets run down. That's literally what happens. She's just like, no, boom! And it's like, what the fuck's going on? Calm down. And the weirdest thing is, like, this movie is going to grind to a halt.
Right, probably, yeah.
Like, to the point where you're like, please speed up. Please speed up. But at the start, you're like, the fuck? She just gets flattened. But she actually seems fine as the driver gets out, which I thought was even more funny. She's just like, hey, I'm fine. I wanted like it to be a joke until like her head is like spilling out or something. But no, she seems fine. And the professor, he checks on her before then hitting her with a tire iron. And I laughed at that as well because he was like, he's like, you're fine. That's a shame. And I did laugh at that because it's Sid Haig. And this is Professor Kurian. He takes her body back to his lab and then strips her fully naked on the operating table. This is full frontal female nudity. Generally, what? Why? I don't get it. Like, I'm not doing like a weird complaint thing and all that. You know, go nuts if that's your jam. You know, put in goopporn.com and you'll see plenty. But it's just, it felt so jarring, right? It was like, okay, she's just fully naked. Because the camera's above her on the table. So it's making sure you can kind of see everything. And you're like, okay, all right.
It was not needed.
It was just weird, right? Particularly because I thought, okay, so they're going to do like a trash thing from Return of the Living Dead, where basically this zombie woman will spend the majority of the movie naked. We'll never see this fucking zombie woman again.
No.
We never will. So I thought that's what was going to be the case. You know what it is? They basically, the same actress as the one with her boobs out in the opening scene. She was happy enough to do it. And they were like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Of course.
Yeah, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Anyway, he injects her with something and then seems to get annoyed when she doesn't start to breathe. And he rants and raves about it not working. It's basically just him talking out loud about what he was trying to do. He then walks randomly to a room where we see a zombie is walking around inside. He sort of turns the light on. Now, Sid Haig is a great actor. He really is. Just think of his roles in House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects. Go back to some of the movies he was in the 80s. Planet of Terror, is it? Planet of Terror? The one with the infamous centipede rape, that one. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, he's good in that and other stuff. He's a good actor, but he Even he can't say bad dialogue.
Yep.
And him saying, even now, you hold a secret of eternal life within you. Like, it's delivered so poorly.
Yep.
Like, it's so fucking, what? Well, who speaks like that? That even he can't save it. I wrote that line down. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, behind him we see the naked body of the woman starts to move. But Kurin continues to talk aloud, complaining that he can't bring the dead back to life. Just randomly out loud. Somehow, right, when he turns back around, he fails to notice the body is missing at first. I'm like, dude, the room's quite small. I feel like even if you weren't looking at it directly, your peripheral vision would be like, that table over there seems kind of empty for the naked woman that I just put there a few minutes ago. Right? And he just doesn't. And when he does, it's too late, as now she's behind him. How she managed to do that. We will see this room later on, and it is not a closet. It's a small laboratory. How the fuck did she get behind him?
The zombie-eating creature just suddenly got up and decided to
hide
behind him. Didn't decide to run towards him or jump on top of him and eat him.
Nope, it's baffling. Yeah. And of course, she ends up attacking him. Now you might think, my God, that's a long intro. And you're right, it was. Because cue the opening credits where we get basically fast shots and recordings that suggest there was a full-on zombie outbreak on the campus.
Should have ended the movie then. That would have been a perfect ending. Okay, that's it. The end.
Anyway, it's for me overall, just like, what an awful start to a movie. And then I get what must be a joke. 29 days later, I was like, is that a joke? Is that supposed to make me go, ah? Because obviously, I mean, if you don't know, there's a famous infected horror movie, one of the best infected sort of zombie-esque horror movies, 28 Days Later. A glorious movie, and 29 days later, it's like, ha. We're at a fancy bar where a woman named Alexandra is being wined and dined. And she seems impressed by the dude, because he's all like, yeah, I'm a doctor, and I'm a neurosurgeon, and all that, and stuff like that. Elsewhere, outside the restaurant, the chef is attacked and bitten by a zombified Kurian. I do think he looks good as a zombie, and Sid Haig kind of does that role quite nicely.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame he has almost no other part in this movie after this. Yeah. And the chef gets bitten in the hand, goes back inside and complains that nobody likes French people. I'm like, listen, you know what, man? I know it's all like, oh, he's a homeless guy and he bit me, man, and stuff like that. I'm not saying you're going to think a zombie. No. But I'm like, I need to get to a fucking hospital to get myself fucking jabbed because a homeless dude bit me in my hand. And I don't think the thing I'll be saying is making a joke about how nobody likes French people.
Exactly.
Like, it's a significant bite and it's bloody, but I'd be like, yeah, like the maitre d's like that. And maitre d's like, oh, get a rag and all that. I'm like, go to a fucking hospital. I've been bitten. You know, I might fucking get a disease.
Typical goddamn Bunnyville.
It's just a stupid reaction to someone. It's a dumb reaction to being bitten.
Yep.
And like, there's no need for it to be a dumb reaction. You could simply have a more realistic reaction where he's like, oh shit, I better go to the hospital and all that. And he could have the maitre d' or the boss being like, no man, we need you, dinner service and all that. That's it. And then everything still works out. But at least his reaction is normal. But this film seems sometimes obsessed with putting in these black humour moments that just don't work.
Eliminate all the jokes. It'd still be a shit movie.
Oh yeah,
a really shit film. But
the
at least it would have been a bit bearable.
Might have been more bearable without the shit jokes. I agree. We then see a truck pull up elsewhere with AMS written on it, and with stock army music playing. They trolled the stock army movie archives here. You know, all that shit. It's awful. Out of it comes a man in a suit. Why was he in the back? Why was he in the truck on his own like that? This is Lieutenant Jake Ellis. And again, I'm going to bring up this a lot. The music goes all triumphant here. When he steps out, it's like... Da-da-da-da-da. And it's like... What?
Hero type, yeah.
But like, that's the kind of music you use at a triumphant point in a story. Mm-hmm. Not when we first meet the dude. For all I know, he could be a fucking coward who shit himself on a battlefield.
Yep.
I didn't even know his name at this point. I've added this because I learned it later on and go back. At this point, all we see is a fairly handsome, no argument there, fairly handsome dude stepping out of a suit. I see suit. I also don't think army dude. I think, oh god, he's going to be one of the bosses of this unit and he'd be a dick and stuff like that.
Yep.
Who the fuck is this guy, as we say? He then goes and sees Colonel Jordan Casper, who chastises him for a failed mission. I love the cheapness of this base. It's basically a fucking warehouse, and it's like, this army unit that's so important
Yep.
looks like a loading dock area of a fucking warehouse. And it's clear they had no fucking money to do anything but this. Her office is sitting behind a fence grating.
I know.
I was like, my God, you could at least tried. But like, yeah, it is hilarious.
Yeah, definitely.
But of course, like I said, this is Casper from the first one, and I'm baffled at this point. I'm like, didn't she die? As I said we said at the start, I think we've identified what they try to do here. And it does make more sense now when you also consider the 29 days later. They think they're throwing in references to other ones. She then tells them about the outbreak at the school and tells them to contact Nightingale. You contact Nightingale, you're the one leading the mission. Why have you not contacted Nightingale already?
I must have missed how they all found out about the outbreak.
Because
people are still eating food in a restaurant. You know, it all started in a college, so that's where the infected.
Right, you know what? We will cover this a bit more in detail as we go on. The reason being is because I have massive issues with this whole campus outbreak in general.
Yeah, okay.
And the idiocy of it. You're right. I don't think they explain how they got wind of it.
Yeah.
Because my idea with thinking would be where zombies wandered off the campus. But as we will explain later on, the zombies seem to be stuck behind invisible walls.
Based in it. Yeah.
They don't seem to leave that campus. And it's been 29 days. Let's not ignore that point. But I will have more anger at that later on than anything else. Anyway, he walks off, but she stops him and says, look, I'm sorry about her brother. And I was like, oh my God, dead brother. We needed a dead somebody. And we've got a dead brother here. How cliched. And you know what? It has no fucking bearing on the story.
Nope.
But will be brought up more times than it needs to be. We will never see his brother in a flashback. We don't even know his brother's name.
Nope.
Why would I give a fuck about his dead brother? All it's used for is to suggest that them meeting up, Jake was a bit of a dick.
Yes.
But now he's got a dead brother, he's got not a dick.
Yeah, so
that's it.
Feel sorry for him, you know.
No! At dinner, we see that the dude that Nightingale Alex has been dating or on a date with is actually catfishing her as he goes on his phone to brag to his buddy about, I've got this chick and all that. And I'm just like, cool. Every dude is just hateable.
Yep.
But she's doing something that I also think is pretty... Now, you can say, well, the end result works in her favour or whatever, but she's using an earpiece to basically listen into his phone conversation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like... That's a really like invasion, man, like privacy. That could have been, like, you know, and you could say, well, you know, she found that this and all that kind of thing, but she seems like such a confident. She'd have found that out anyway.
Yes.
Like she wasn't. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to bed her tonight. She doesn't seem like the type of woman that was going to go back and bed him.
No.
So like, why has she got to do this way? I found it quite. I found it I found it just crap, like a crap way to behave.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't really explain. Is it like their first date? Is it?
Yeah, like, well, I kind of presumed it was like a blind date almost.
A blind date. So why would she straight away have suspicions then to be tapping his phone? How the hell did she tap his phone anyway?
I
would love to know.
Well, I think she's kind of like she's listening to what he's saying, like through like obviously an enhancement thing. But it would have been funnier, like if we really wanted to double down on funny, if she gets out a little radar dish, and stands up on the table, like one of those holding it out like that, and he's looking over, going, "What's she doing?" You know, this woman's really weird. Anyway, the waiter comes over and pours her some more champagne, and this waiter apparently got blood all over his cuff of his shirt and did not clean it off. Yep. She's just like, hey, why you got blood on you? Apparently they know each other. Dude, are you going to continue serving people? Because you come to my table with blood in your shirt, I'm going to be like,
check, please.
Fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Like, really? Clean, like, change your shirt. Anyway, he tells her what happened in the kitchen and just immediately kicks in her action as she gets up and she's so badass. They're all like, you can't go in there, you can't go in there. She walks in to find the chef is transforming into a zombie. Too late, though. It's always too late in this film. You ever noticed that?
Of course it is.
Always too late.
Oh, man, did he turn fast?
Yeah, we'll get into the speed. Well, my God, I just remembered an element of this movie that might be the dumbest thing in it overall. Okay, he changes and he bites the waiter. Alex then shoots the chef in their head. Outside, the waiter is loaded into an ambulance. And I'm like, okay, so like you know he's going to turn and whatever. But at this point, to be fair, we don't know if they don't have they might have a cure and all that kind of thing. So fair enough. And Alex reveals to a date that she knows he's not who he says he is, and she's so badass, and he's just a fucking loser because he's an assistant manager on Blockbuster. That bothered me so much. Fuck you, films, for doing that. Films, TV have done this for time immemorial. And I hope it changes, where they take what is perceived as a shitty job and then use it to attach it to a loser character. And I'm like, man, if you were like in that role, like how hurtful is that, you know? And here's the thing, right? I know the joke is assistant manager on Blockbuster because, Blockbuster and all that. And in 2005, I don't even know Blockbuster was gone by then or if it was on its way out. But man, being an assistant manager for anything is a good role. Of course, why are you running that shit down? Don't do that. But you hear it all the time, it's like McDonald's worker or Walmart worker. And it's like, fuck you, man. People have got a job and earning money, yeah? You'd be such a dick, you know?
Job to job, man.
Exactly.
Pays the bills.
I hated that bit. You can be a dick, you can be a loser for his catfishing idiotic ways and bragging about bed area and all that kind of thing. Don't throw in like, oh yeah, I'm just an assistant manager on Blockbuster. Oh my God. Fuck off, right? That one really annoyed me. Alex then meets up with Jake and they leave in the ambulance with the waiter. And so this film has many dumb moments. This is up there as one of the earliest, dumbest bits. They appear to just be waiting for him to become zombified as they talk about her dating. And this is where we find that Jake's not a pig anymore. That's the term they use, a pig anymore, because he's got a dead brother. I was like, how does that even work? How does it work? If he was a pig before, by that obviously means he was sexist and probably a bit of a pig towards women. I've got a dead brother. Now I'm respectful of women. Why?
Because that's why he's the way he is.
I want a flashback of his dead brother going, Jake, take this letter to my wife and promise me, you won't be a pig anymore. You know? I want that. The waiter ends up reanimating and Jake just callously shoots him in the head, splattering them both with blood. And it's supposed to look how badass they are because they're both unfazed. But all I'm thinking is, you're a pair of fucking idiots. Why'd you wait him to be a reanimate? Surely shoot him in the head at any point would have mattered. Wouldn't have changed it and so on. But also, you just splattered yourself with blood.
Did I get in your mouth, your eyes? Are you infected?
That's the thing, I come to that as well. If you can be infected by a bite, which means then it can infect you, why are you running the risk of that blood going in any of your orifices? Your eyes, your nose, your mouth. It is so fucking dumb, and it's just to make them look so badass. And I hated it. I hated it. And do you know what I also hate? I'm hurting my voice.
This film.
This is the first time you hear of the name of the zombies in this film. Hyper Sapiens. What the fuck is that? Who's coming up with that? Why are we doing that? Why aren't we calling them zombies?
Zombies are infected.
The Walking Dead. The dead. Infected. Hyper Sapiens? Oh my God.
There's so many better names they could have used.
It's so dumb. So they arrive at and meet Casper at the base, which still kills me. Every time they pull up to her, I was like, that is hilariously bad. And she tells them about the outbreak at the campus. And this is where things get even more confusing. She acts like this is a brand new situation. The way she talks, it's like they've just found out about it. But we've already established two things. One, the infection takes hold really fast. We also did an opening that sounded like the media was talking news reports about an outbreak on the campus. And then we also have 29 days later. What is going on?
But I can't explain this at all. So.
It's about to get even messier. So she tells them to get in, find survivors and get a blood sample and get out as it's going to be bombed. She wants them to be quick because she doesn't want the media getting a hold of it. And I just went, my head in my hands. I was like, oh my God, what was that fucking opening credits about? That sounded, right, so fair enough, it wasn't the media, it was the army talking back and forth across the room. Let's say it was, right? Let's say it was. Why are you talking as if this is brand new? Why have you waited 29 days to deal with this? Why have you waited for this specific group of people to become available? What is going on? But are you fucking kidding me? Won't a lot of dead kids and a blown up campus draw the attention of the media?
The media, parents, the families. I mean, where are the parents? Like, we haven't spoken to our kids in 30 days.
Yeah, in 30 days, yeah. You know, where's teachers haven't come home to their fucking partners? You know, what is they doing here? Media's like, oh, we're going to do a gas explosion. That's still going to get media attention.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And as we'll see at the end, the explosion of the campus is one building.
I know.
Oh my God, I don't mean to get so high pitched, but you've seen the outrage videos before, and this is outrageous. Then Jake wants AMS to go in alone, but along comes Sergeant Dalton, who has a problem with Jake and AMS. Sticky fingers. I don't know his musical work. I really don't. I don't pay attention. It's not in my realm, so I don't. Yeah. But mate, I don't know what other films you've done. Acting is not. At least in 2005, acting was not your jam. Mm-hmm. This is fucking awful. Dalton is given command of the Special Forces, and Nightingale over the AMS science team, with her and Jake answering to Dalton. So that's the setup. We then get introduced to the Walking Dead meat of Special Force units. As we often say, here's the Walking Dead meat. Yep. You're here to die. Who are they? I'm not doing it. I don't fucking care. I didn't care. The film will force me to have to include some names later on, but I don't care. I was like, immediately I was like, I'm not learning your names. I'm not writing them down. I'm not going to follow. I'm going to reference whatever makes you the thing in this. You're all going to die. Guess what? Every single one of them die.
Of course.
Absolutely. We then get the AMS and Special Forces having a bigger back and forth, and Jake and Alex argue about their usefulness when getting changed. And I was like, this film is shit. This is shit.
Yep.
So boring. This is where we started to grind to a halt, and it is going to stay this way.
Drags.
It drags. Sexist Special Forces. In particular, there's one called Bart. He's the one I thought I had to reference. And I was like, oh my God, we've seen these guys in this movie before, and the banter is so awful. Yep. In a better movie, you can tell they wanted this character to be someone like Richard Brake. Richard Brake would do this role brilliantly. It's his bread and butter. This guy isn't terrible as an actor. He's not. His problem is his character is so forcibly unlikable that I think they go too far the other way. They're like, we want you to hate this guy. And you go too far where I'm like, listen, this is too much. Nobody can be this much of a dickhead. Damon's getting bored.
Oh, sorry.
You're tired. You've been at work today. Everyone moves out, dressed in the fakest looking gear. Everyone looks terrible. And my God, the body armor. Oh. So they've got basic army apparel shit you could buy in any goddamn shop anywhere. Yep. But then they've got this weird black chest protector. But that's all it is. It's like a chest protector, loose there. Your arms are completely free to be... Like, how is that protecting you?
Nope.
That is so fucking stupid. It wouldn't even be good to protect you from a gunshot.
Nope.
Because your shoulders are free.
All free. Yeah,
I mean, it's terrible. And again, the music goes all triumphant when Jake appears. And I was like, why are you doing that?
Because they're trying to make him out to be the hero. He's the hero, isn't he?
I thought, like, up to a point, Alex was supposed to be our hero. But they keep doing the music for Jake. They move out into the campus, which doesn't appear to be cordoned off at all. Like, nothing. It just appears to be open land, which is baffling. I don't get it why these zombies haven't wandered off. Like, even if it was an explanation, it was like, all right, we tried to keep them contained, but they were beginning to break through some of the defenses, and that's why we need to send you in there and deal with this. That would make sense. But this is just... Open campus.
Yep.
It's insane that over the last 29 days, zombies haven't spread throughout the country.
Nope.
At least the state. But it seems like the zombies were all happy enough to stay in one location. Yeah. And it's not because they're locked inside, because you could have even done that. Because we will see their free roaming immediately. Insane. And we also find here that the Special Forces team that has been sent in have never actually fought zombies. And I was like, why are they here? Why are they here? Why is this that you're telling me you don't have any other teams that have dealt with zombies?
Exactly.
You sent this lot who've never, and didn't even give them a briefing.
Nope.
Because they're like, well, what's the difference? Quite a big one. As Jake's like, well, you know, normally when you shoot someone in the chest, they don't get back up. And I'm like, if you have to explain that to these guys, why are they here?
Yep.
This is fucking dumb. This is the dumbest movie. Is this the dumbest movie we've done? This might be the dumbest movie we've done.
This is the worst movie I've ever seen, man.
Man, you can't say that. Alone in the Dark exists.
Oof.
Stop talking like that.
Yeah, actually,
you can't.
I want these two are tied.
It's certainly up there. It's amongst them. Yeah. Anyway, during this scene, Jake and Dalton do more I'm calling it dick waving.
Yeah.
I'm in charge. You can be in charge if you want. Don't tell me I'm in charge. Shut the fuck up.
What is with this film is you've always got to do that. You've always got to have two macho men.
Yep.
And you've got to have the pretty girl,
Here's the thing, you know what's fucking annoying? They don't even bother to tell us why they have issues.
Yep.
Like, they imply that they don't get along, but, like, do that and tie it into the dead brother thing.
Exactly.
Tie that all into when they served together.
Exactly. Is it his fault his brother died?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Something like that, you know? Anyway, Jake complains to Alex about the mission and tells her to watch his back. And then we get something dead brother. I give up with notes. I just wrote something dead brother. Because I don't give a flying fuck. They then come across a zombie. One that looks like she's from the 80s. That outfit was hilarious. Got shoulder pads in her jacket. Who's wearing shoulder pads now?
Yep.
Or then? Dalton shoots her twice in the chest and walks over as she hits the floor. And I was like, huh? Because apparently it's enough to keep her down on the ground, even though it doesn't kill her. For some reason, she's like stuck to the ground now, but not dead. But also, didn't we just tell you what you have to do with zombies? And they've just gone and shot her twice in the head and not killed her? Jake and Alex draw some blood for their DNA to check. So basically, they want to draw blood. We'll explain it now. And what they want to do is find patient zero. Because apparently, if they find patient zero, they'll be able to maybe synthesize a cure. You know what? It's a plot point. Let's have it. Let's take it and run with it. And it's not a match when they run it through the machine. What doesn't help is that machine looks like a toy. It looks like hilariously like a toy. It looks so fucking cheap. Alex then wonders if they're mutating as this one has basically what I term as mad teeth. Just crazy teeth going on. Again, I felt like, oh, cool, we're going to kind of do like a mutation thing going on. No! They kill the zombie and move on. More zombies then come out of the bushes, and for some reason, one of the Special Forces team runs forward, gets his gun knocked out of his hand, so he has to now karate fight. I'm like, oh my god. But not only that as well, just to make it feel as bad as the original, breaking a neck, a head snap works on these zombies though.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. We're not even trying. But he does get bitten on the hand in the process, and I was like, good. He's an idiot.
Yep.
The immediate running up and getting a gun knocked out of his hand, I was like, you are Special Forces.
Yep.
Oh my god. He tries to play it off as nothing more than a scratch, but Alex isn't happy. Dawn calls a medic and Alex points her weapon at him. Now, this does cause a little bit of surprising tension as there's a bit of a standoff. But Dalton then pulls out a machete and cuts the infected arm off. So, alright, cool, alright. You know, at least he understood there was a risk.
That I can go with. You know, if you see like the Walking Dead TV series, that happens in there too.
Of course.
Obviously, I'm not going to compare them both.
No, but it's a classic sort of zombie-esque idea that you try and stop the infection.
That I'm okay with, but going back to the fact that this is a Special Force, highly trained military man, and he's got his gun knocked out of his hand by a zombie.
Yep.
And he's ran towards a zombie.
Yep.
Instead of standing back and go, I'm going to stand back.
Distance. Distance is what you want with zombies.
100 miles away and still be able to shoot you. But
he's one of many idiots.
Yep.
Anyway, it's too late though, because he immediately reanimates and bites the medic. I was like, wow, that was even quicker than normal. Sometimes the speed of this infection is varies. No, I could kind of hyperbolize here and say, getting his arm cut off, sent him into shock, killed him, and then he reanimated from that.
I can get if you get bit in the neck, like near your head.
Maybe something where the blood really flows quite thickly.
Faster. Getting bit in the arm, the leg, or hand. You know,
it's debatable. Because it was the hand. It was there. It's that part there, the in between the thumb and your forefinger. Jake then shoots them both, and I was like, well, that just makes Dalton look even stupider because Jake's like, I'll fix this problem. Also, this is where you got to stop and be like, and I know we're going to keep bringing it up how bad the Special Forces are. It's been like 2 zombies. And 2 of them have been killed. Oh my god, how rubbish are you? You are not going to survive this, so it's no surprise next to none of them do.
Yep.
Well, none of them do.
And they've used a lot of bullets already.
Yes. Anyway, they make their way to the main part of the campus and split into teams. 3 go into the dorms, coming across bodies. 1, Bart, who has already been set up as a massive dick, starts robbing bodies and is then really mean to someone on the phone because, like I said, they push this guy's hateability too far.
Yep.
I get the impression, right, here in this sort of Dawn part, that the filmmakers wanted to be a little bit like Resident Evil here. Because it's a little bit darker. It's supposed to almost be like, here's a horror section. As it's kind of silent and they're finding bodies and all that. But it's not, you know. Whatever issues we have with Resident Evil movie adaptions, all of them shit all over this movie. Absolutely.
Easily, yeah.
Give me any of the Jovovich movies.
Yes.
Give me Welcome to Raccoon City. You know? That much. Anyway, the 3 continue to look around as they come across gnawed bodies and the dead. Outside the main campus, The fat one, Special Forces. You know how bad this character is. If you go to IMDb and look at like trivia and stuff like that, he's got an entry. Because basically, it's because he's fat. Now this isn't fat shaming, but it's based on the simple fact that it's true.
Yep.
He's fat. He wouldn't even be in the army.
Nope.
He would not have passed whatever rigorous test, let alone Special Forces.
No way.
That to have got into it because he's overweight.
He
would have slimmed down and all that. There's no excuse for this. So it's embarrassing on that front. But he, for some reason, thinks they've dealt with all the zombies. And I was like, when? A campus? There's probably going to be quite a few.
Over 1,000 at least, man.
Even if it was, say, during a break, you would have like plenty more than just the two you met.
Yep.
They then head into the main hall, Dalton leading with Alex and Jake and his team. They're so good at their job, that they don't see or hear a zombie walk past the camera. So we get like a long shot of them in the other end of the room and the zombie walks across the camera for us. I'm like, they're supposed to be highly trained. It's silent in there. You would hear it move.
Literally scuttling, you'd hear it.
Shuffling its feet.
It'd be knocking things over, man, because it's a zombie. Oh.
I swear though, every time they say hey, Hyper Sapiens, a little piece of my soul dies. Just a little piece goes, they're ruining zombies for me. The dead meat talk nothing until they eventually come across what they think is a survivor in the library. Because they're all so fucking stupid. They're so bad at the job, one puts his weapon away because in his view, zombies don't read. Even though this person is just sitting at a table with his head down, he's like, well, zombies don't read, so he puts his weapon away. Guess, can you believe it? Guess who gets attacked by a zombie?
Shocker.
He's saved by Jake, though, before they're interrupted by a librarian zombie who shushes them. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Did you just try and make a Ghostbusters joke?
Clearly.
It doesn't make any sense. Why does this zombie have that level of brain power that did not immediately attack him? Because no other zombie in the film is like this.
There's one coming up which I thought was... I actually had to go back and watch it again.
Oh, no, shit, you might be right. Okay, no, I think I know what one you're talking to. It's just really weird here, and it's a joke about Ghostbusters with the librarian ghost and all that. Yep. But they kill her and start to move out. The dorm lot, so with the group that are in the dorm, hear voices in the distance. They find a room and bust in, finding a radio playing. Again, they're so bad at their job that they apparently cannot tell the difference between what is going to be radio voices, which has a distinct sound, particularly for a war, and people talking.
Yep.
I think that's terrible, but there you go. Anyway, inside that room, a half-naked zombie walks out. It's an excuse to show more tits.
Yep.
They kill her, and I was like, bloody hell, this is so boring. They're literally, because there's the problem, they're just killing random individual zombies. There's nothing fun, there's no action, it's just, oh, okay, she's dead.
There should be loads, man.
That's the biggest problem as well. I'm thinking, where the fuck is everyone?
You should open the door and there's like 30 zombies busting.
That door should have been packed. And it should have been quite a tense action scene of like in a corridor. Think maybe like Wreck or something like that.
Them running, being chased by like 30 zombies. That would have been exciting.
Exciting, but nope. Empty. Here's a zombie and she's dead. Bart then enters massive douche territory by trying to get one of the other team members to take a picture of him with a corpse, and then talks about banging the corpse. And that's what I'm talking about, people, about Bart character. It's just too much. Yeah. And it's not, I don't even, like I said, I'm not hating him. I'm just like, this is so absurdly over the top that no person exists like this, and no person would have been able to exist in the Special Forces in any kind of capacity in life if they were this fucked up.
I'm not saying that these things aren't happening in Special Forces.
Of course they're going to be dicks like that.
Jokers and all that, okay. But come on, man. These guys are highly trained, been trained for years and years and years. They would never, ever make it through that.
He would have been out of there. He's too much. It's just too much. The other team enter a recreation area, and Alex and Jake continue to test zombies that they find. Even the actors at this point actually look bored of what they're doing. Like, this is what they've been told to do. Just keep walking. We'll film music, move around. It's so boring.
Yep.
This is where we learn that they can make a cure, or potentially make a cure, from Generation Zero, as they call it. Alex reveals to Dalton that Jake's brother died. I mean, who fucking cares? Alex and Dalton then flirt? Yep. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Where's this coming from, man? More bodies as Bart continues to take pictures of the gore and talk shit. There's some debate then about the AMS and if the virus has gone airborne, because they find some bodies locked in a room with no sign of how the virus got in. Almost immediately after that, we hear a little buzzing and Bart is bitten by a mosquito. And all three realise this is potentially how the infection spread. What the actual fuck is this? Now, I'm going to jump ahead and we're going to talk about why this is fucking insane. This is so fucking stupid. Because this is the only mosquito we will see in this film. Mosquitoes are plentiful. They will be all around. So I thought initially, well, that's a really cool idea of now having the added problem of mosquito. How are you going to get around that element?
Yep.
There is never a single mosquito in this again. Apparently, just one individual, single mosquito, got trapped inside, somehow got infected, maybe because it drank on infected blood, now bit Bart, and Bart's now been infected potentially. But no other mosquito that exists on this campus drank from infected blood and is never heard or seen again. It's because, I'm going to be honest, the reason why they knew they couldn't do that is mosquitoes that could be infected and spread infection is the end of the world.
Yes.
Of course it is. This is so fucking stupid.
Yep.
I can't even believe they even did this.
One mosquito for 30 days trapped in a building.
It's absurd.
Yep.
It's a fucking absurdly stupid. Unbelievable. It just keeps getting dumber. Anyway, Dalton's team are going down a stairwell and think they hear something above them. One then gets separated from the team here and decides to go investigate himself. Why would you do that?
Man, if I'm the commanding officer, man, you're getting your ass kicked.
It's just bad training. It's like a bad soldier. And he ends up following a woman who runs away from him. Okay, so must be someone who's scared and alive, right?
That's fair.
Right?
I'll go with that, yeah.
He follows her into a storeroom where she's sitting in a corner facing away from him. And it's like a sort of like she's got a white dress on as well, and she's sort of sitting hunched up like that. Do you ever see any others?
Yep.
Right, that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was trying to make it look like there. Anyway, guess what? She's a zombie. Because of course she is. And I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? So she ran away and hid and acted like a human just to lure him in here to then attack him. Because if that's the case, if she's got that much brain power, why does she not just wait behind the door?
Yep.
Why is she in the corner like that?
Why didn't the highly trained soldier say, I'm a soldier.
Yep, stand up, turn around.
Stand now, I'm going to shoot you. You've got 5 seconds.
You've got 5 seconds, stand up and turn around now.
Boom, done.
It's basically, the rules around these zombies are incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
And he does end up fighting with her, but can actually isolate her without getting bit, which I thought was cool. Because I actually expected him to die here. And it was like, oh, he didn't die there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this might kind of be one of the better scenes where he backs out of the room and backs out into, basically, he's a big guy in the Special Forces and basically backs out into a much bigger zombie.
Yeah.
And he kind of screams and you kind of get the gist of it. But I was like, all right, that was a cool little... That was at least pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know? It's a small thing in a movie that's filled with terrible shit, so I take the small stuff.
But again, I just don't get why we're only getting one zombie here, one zombie here. Where is the horde?
Yes, it's still that. Yep, absolutely. And then we come back to Bart, who's looking a bit sweaty. And Bart is trying to argue for his own survival, and rightfully suggests that maybe we shouldn't jump to conclusions about the mosquito. Because bear in mind, although we jumped ahead about that, there is actually nothing to back up here. All he potentially did was get bit by a mosquito, and the panic from that might be causing him to sweat.
I agree.
Yeah, but he's like, maybe we should jump to conclusions. The others give him a gun and tell him to end it himself. Now, to be fair, they don't like it. So I could say, like, they're not exactly kind of over-armoured with it. But I was like, maybe don't give the guy that's been a massive dick a gun.
Yep.
You know? But of course he won't end it. And they end up in a standoff. He tries to pay them off, offering them $1 million, half each. And I'm like, where the fuck is he getting that money from? To be fair, he does explain it with a very half-assed saying that he's going to steal the zero matter and sell it on the black market. And I was like, do you know? Like, is someone already gone, look, if anybody can find this, we'll pay you $1 million. Like, it could be worth 20 grand for all he knows.
But it's supposed to be all secretive, and you know, so you're telling me you're going to steal this?
Maybe it was eBay.
Yeah. eBay, yep.
One pretends to side with Bart, but actually ends up knocking him out, and then they agree to leave him. Why not just kill him? If you dislike him that much, particularly what they do, you could argue you've kind of give him a death sentence anyway.
Much, yeah.
Dalton's team find themselves in the underbelly of the building. Fuck knows how they end up there. Which now reveals hundreds of dead in a cage. Apparently, they were lured down here by security who killed themselves after having been bitten. So, I have a problem with this. I don't mind this idea as a way of explaining where a lot of the zombies have been. However, what I don't understand is this. It's a giant cage, except we never really see how big it is. All we ever see is the front of it. Why is there a giant cage down there? What the fuck is that doing in a school campus? But for them to lead the zombies in, or to get all of them into that cage, that meant the security would have had to have gone into it, all the way to the other side of it, and wait till it filled up.
Yep.
And they got out with what, one bite? Mm-hmm. Okay, then. I ain't buying it.
Nope.
Ain't buying it. Dalton gets pissy about Jake giving an order, because I'm still doing that, and then he head out. Don't worry, folks, we're not going to be doing it for much longer.
Nope.
However, one of the supposed dead security guards gets up and bites Dalton, who goes crazy with his gun. Admittedly, I didn't expect him to die at this stage. I thought he'd be one of the last few.
Yeah, me too. I was a bit taken back here.
Especially as he tries to argue that he's okay, but he begins to turn instantly. I really hate his turning.
Yep.
So, it's like he's thriller dancing.
Yeah, I know.
And like that, it just looks really stupid. Now, I guess we could argue what you said. He got bit in the neck, back of the neck. So maybe that's why he's turning faster. But everybody just watches him. Everybody just watches him. Until eventually someone's like, oh yeah, no, I should kill him. He's become a zombie. They always seem to wait until they go, bah!
I know, it's like he's your colleague, man. Put him out of his bloody misery, man.
And then the fat guy's like, they got the Sarge, man. I'm like, no, you don't even dare try to make that reference.
Yep.
No. Moving on. The other women handcuff Bart to a radiator and leave him with a gun. And I was like, you are the dumbest people in the world. You are presuming that you're at least giving him an option there to either try and get out of it or kill himself. You're giving him that choice. Why would he not use that gun to shoot the handcuff off?
That's what I would do.
I mean, it's not going to be nice, but it's going to get. It would potentially work. Mm-hmm. Now, hilariously, Bart won't even think about doing that because he'll do something dumber. But we'll get to that.
Yep.
Everyone's really sad about Dalton as they leave. I was like, what? Why? Yeah. Are we? I was like, should I be sad? I don't feel sad. Nope. You know, weird. However, their exit is blocked by zombies. And then they run back to the cage room and all the zombies have gotten out and disappeared. Just disappeared. And they're like, oh, they're all gone. I'm like, all of them?
Yep, it suddenly disappeared.
Where have they gone? And then they're just back. They just come out of nowhere. Apparently they just hide in shadows until ready to attack. Yep. And it's a shooting gallery as the fat one is killed. And I just like, oh no. Everybody really liked him.
Yep.
Alex loses her body armor here as a zombie rips it off. That was weird. And Jake summarizes that their evolution allows them to chew through the body armor. I was like, doesn't even matter. We've seen loads of you die with the body armor.
Evolution. So that's what they're trying to do, basically. These zombies are smarter.
Which would have made more sense if they had body armor over their arms and then someone gets bit in the arm and it's like, oh no, the sharp teeth go through it? Yep. It's such a pointless, irrelevant thing. But it's this film. The pair end up running and find an exit and they try to call base for extraction but can't get through. We now see that the campus is overrun by zombies. Because apparently the zombies all came, woke up.
Yeah, literally.
Decided to come, apparently so. I guess they were just chilling out.
Yep.
Yeah. Alex and Jake run into more zombies. They come up with the idea of climbing up on the pipes, setting off the sprinklers, and shooting a nearby electrical box to fry the zombies. I was like, yeah, sure, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Even though their bodies are getting covered with the same water, that is not how electricity works. They would have been electrocuted as well. Yep. But you know what? Fine. Fuck you, film. Fuck you. I don't care. I felt like we were at least now on a path to the end. Because all the zombies were here, they were trying to scare us. I was like, right, we're on the path. Do you know we're not even fucking close?
Nope, no one is.
The two women return to their truck to find their driver freaking out. There's a zombie in the back and one of the women is bitten. Okay, that happened. Alright, why was there a zombie in the back?
Yep.
Okay. The other gets emotional about killing her, but does, and the sad music playing here is hilarious. I was like, who was that one?
Yep.
Who fucking cares? Like, they built some massive fucking relationship in a few scenes they had.
Yep.
Terrible. Alex and Jake are by a lit furnace trying to dry themselves off and doing the bants. They're back and forth because they're so hot. They're so cool. Course, so tough. Yep. So badass. He then bores the pants off us. Like, oh my God. You know what I don't need right now? Is why they call her Nightingale. Yep, presuming that it's after Florence Nightingale. It's like, I don't need this. Nope. I don't need this at all. She then reveals that it's because she worked in an African country where a village got infected and she slaughtered the entire village. So the name is actually a joke. I was like, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. You're like, oh, you're going to call you Nightingale after the anti-Florence Nightingale? Like, I feel like you'd come up... That doesn't even make sense. All, yeah. But also, and I have to check the dates. I'm not sure about the dates. If you get your phone to hand, let's do it now. Check when Resident Evil 5 came out. What year Resident Evil 5 came out? We're going to interrupt the video here to actually do this and see if we can find out when Resident Evil 5 came out. Because I felt like African Village, Infection, are we seriously doing a Resident... Are we?
Oh, actually, hang on. Actually, yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But I can't remember if it was before or after, so it'd be good to know. Resident Evil 5 release date.
That's a good point, actually, yes. Surely not.
I just felt like, because there's so many other, like, things... No, it's not, thankfully. Oh, did Resident Evil 5 rip it off? 2009? No, I'm joking. Resident Evil, no one from Resident Evil development team was watching this shit. No. Absolutely, but it just made me laugh. Anyway, they plan to head up to the oldest building in campus, the science building. I mean, I would figure the science place might be a good place to go anyway, in general. You know?
Should be the first place to start.
Indeed. Inside, they find Curian's lab. So I was like, oh, so he worked on his experiments out of the school? How? How did he get away with that? How was he allowed to do that?
Because he's just...
He kept this... Like, you have to kind of report in. You don't just get to keep labs and be like, no, you can't look in there.
Crazy scientist.
No, you can't look in there where I keep my zombies. No, that does not help. No. They're then shut out by a kid. And I use the term kid in inverted commas, man. This dude in his mid-20s, at least. Jake wonders aloud if a zombie has learned to shoot. Why are you doing shitty jokes? Why are you doing shitty jokes? And I was like, you know what? Why not? And they've learned to do other things. Yeah, exactly. Throw that in as well. Alex calls out and tells the person that they're a medical team and do not shoot. They reveal themselves, finding the two youngsters named Lonnie and Sarah. They're a couple. Lonnie and Sarah reveal that they've been hiding out since the outbreak started. They say that they were teaching assistants for Curian and reveal that he made the first zombies. And these two characters are here for one reason only, to spout exposition and get us to the latter part of this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
They then found out that Curian was stealing corpses and stopped him, but his experiments continued, which we already know. And I was like, so you were like, oh, we can't tell on him? We can't report him?
Yep, no reports, no nothing.
Like, that would make you culpable as his assistants.
Yeah, damn right, yeah.
You know? They then show Alex and Jake the locked up zombie from the start. Are you fucking ready for this? As I said, 4 or 5 times it took me to piece this together. Inside this room, this female zombie is Curian's son's girlfriend. And you're like, so? Who gives a fuck?
Yep.
What does it matter who she is? Who is Curian's son? His name is Rudy. Who is Rudy? From the first film. The survivor at the end. The one that does the voiceover, that talks over at the end, revealing that his name is Rudy Curian.
Yep.
This is Rudy's girlfriend. It is Alicia. And this is confirmed when we see her stab wound is the source of her infection, the first Hyper Sapiens. If you remember in the first film, reminding you, she got stabbed through the chest. Curian injected her with the virus, and she was apparently okay. But apparently not. Alex now remembers Alicia when they came back from the island. They were Rudy were taken into custody by AMS, but shown no signs of affection, so we'll just let go. So you might be wondering, where's Rudy in all of this?
Yep.
Well, apparently it's just summed up quietly as Alicia turned into a zombie and killed him.
Yeah.
Why did she turn into a zombie later than everyone else? No idea. Anyway, they just need to get her blood. Jake is able to overpower her and Alex checks the blood, and it turns out this is the one they need. As Alex goes to signal to be let out, the two youngsters... Oh my god. This scene. So after they deal with the zombie and get the blood, they've locked themselves in. Jake goes to the door. And for some reason, rather than just waiting at the door, the two youngsters, Lonnie and Sarah, are now at the opposite end of the room. Because Jake's like, hey, can you open up? And Lonnie's like, oh yeah. Walking back towards the door. I'm like, why would you not just be waiting by the door?
Yep.
Ready to open it immediately for them to come out because of the fucking zombie. What the actual fuck?
Yep, I know.
But in doing that as well, they failed to notice there were zombies behind them, having entered the buildings.
Of course.
Hey, Alex and Jake, maybe, just maybe, close the door behind you. You know, not just make it easy access. Yep. Block it up. try and find a way to make sure no zombies can follow us in here. Something.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're killed, and Jake is attacked by Alicia. However, he manages to shoot her in the head. They're now trapped inside. It's my favourite. With 14 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Because Jake specifies 14 minutes and about 20 seconds left on the clock. And I was like, you fuckers have said it.
Yep.
And you know what I love to do?
Time it.
Time that bad boy. So what I did is I watched through it once, up to the point where the bomb goes off. Then I went back, right when he said 14:20, and then set a timer, and then let it play in the background with a timer to that point again, and then matched it up. All will be revealed when we get there. The door then randomly opens, and the zombies are busy chowing down. We see there's like a disembodied hand that I guess implied one of them had got to the door and opened it before getting killed. And the zombies are just like ignoring Alex and Jake just because they're eating the bodies of the others.
Yep.
Now, admittedly, I think this might be the period of the best effects. I think this is actually quite gory and a little bit nasty because Lonnie's still alive.
Yeah, it's gory,
And it's, so I think this is quite a horror scene. You know, small things again, right?
Yeah.
Alex and Jake get outside and we see hundreds of zombies coming towards them. Rather than take a safer path, you know, maybe we'll go round them, maybe we'll go this direction and so on. They're like, no, let's just fight our way through the crowd. And it gets so fucking dumb. So dumb because suddenly the zombies are a lot less grabby than you. It's difference between grabbing and now doing this.
Yes, literally, patting
Oh
him.
no,
Yeah,
I can't get him.
I know.
He's too far away. You know? Even when Alex does get grabbed, they just sort of lie on top of her.
Yep.
They don't try to bite her.
Nope.
And do a terrible job then if Jake just walks over and is like, get off her. And like, get off her. All right, sorry.
Yeah.
We're only playing, you know. Anyway, in the end I was like, you know what this is? It's a really tame mosh pit. That's all it is. It's a tame mosh pit, just like that.
Yeah.
They bust out as the surviving Special Forces woman, remember her? Drives the truck up. And I was like, how the fuck did she know they were there?
Yep.
How does she know they were there? It's a campus. These things are big. Like, these are big places.
She's tracking them.
Then we get them driving away. And even when a zombie is hanging on to Jake and the truck is moving, it makes no... It's hanging onto the back of his legs.
Yep.
Its head is around his arse. It should be trying to bite him,
yep.
but it makes no attempt. And it's just like, stupid movie. It's such a fucking stupid movie. Anyway, Jake manages to knock it off. Oh no! You thought we were near the end of the movie? Get in the bin. The zombie takes something with him. The bag with a blood vial. And I could have cried. I was like, no. That means there's more to come.
Yep.
We're going to have to go back and get it. Outside the campus. And I'm just reminded, oh yeah, I guess the zombies hit that dunk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, we can't get through.
Yep.
Because they didn't follow. They park them and Jake says they have to go back. It's now apparently less than 10 minutes till the missiles drop. Now, the reason why I'm still using the 14:20 is because that's the only time it's specific. Here, Jake sort of summarises less than 10 minutes. And I was like, well, I can't, that's not accurate enough for me to judge the movie. 14 minutes and 20 odd seconds, that is so specific,
yes.
I'm going to judge you on it. It's less than 10 minutes till the missile drops. The Special Forces woman's like, I ain't going back in. Fuck no. But Jake says he's not leaving with it and without the thing because otherwise what was the point of it all?
Yep.
I don't know. You're still alive?
Or perhaps put it somewhere better. You know, this is the most important thing you need to cure. To cure everyone. Why the hell would you just let it go that easy? I'm sorry.
Where the fuck was it? I don't even know where it was. But we're going to get to the dumbest thing of all. And Alex agrees that they should go back in. In fact, we'll bring up the dumbest thing of all here right now. So obviously they're going to go back, and they're going to go back to exactly where they were before and pick up the bag.
Of
course, that's got the vial in it.
No,
It hopefully won't be broken. That doesn't exist in this film anymore. They end up going back to the fucking goddamn original zombie in the laboratory, in the science room, where all the zombies were. I'm like, why would you not just go back to the bag? Why would you not drive back, running zombies down?
I know.
Why would you make it more harder for yourself? It is insane. But before then, he brings up his brother again, as we then cut to them heading back in even less armour. They've now stripped their clothes down to be even more exposed, and because it's this film, badass music. Bow, bow. You know? You know what? I generally wanted them to take the piss there and put the Hardy Boys music over it. You know what I mean? Dun, 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 you know, like that sort of thing. It's so stupid, why not?
Yep.
They walk across the football field because for some reason now they're going a different direction. running into football zombies. Zombies in football gear. So this raises many questions. Many questions. And it'll start from here. Let's see, I guess, how many you've got. 1. Why have they remained in this field? If there were zombies, have just stayed there and just stayed there for the last 29 days. Okay, so all the football team got bitten while during a game and then reanimated without taking any of their football clothes off, the helmets or anything like that. Or they all got bitten beforehand but were like, I'm going to play anyway, even though they were feeling sick and shitty like that. That is... I shouldn't have that many questions about this.
This entire scene is actually literally. After watching the film, I went back onto YouTube, and this scene's on there because I searched it, and actually it is criticised terribly.
Of course,
but
because we're missing another thing that happens.
Yeah,
one of the zombies throws a football, and I just wrote, I hate this movie. I hate this movie.
I know. I cannot believe. I mean, the film was shit anyway from what I saw. But I wasn't paying attention too much to the film. I was doing things while watching it. And then when I saw this part, when the zombie threw the football to him, and then he does some stupid joke.
I don't think I wrote the joke down.
Come on, it's something it's like something like, hey, I'm not a quarterback or something.
Oh, right, okay.
Something stupid. But then, I don't know if you covered it in the notes.
Well,
but, yeah, I'll leave it first.
Is it after the football field?
Yes,
So chances are we're going to get into that. They then waste ammo for some reason, shooting them instead of just ignoring them. Just ignore them. Yep. There's a big football field. You could walk around them. Zombie cheerleaders.
Yep.
Zombie coach. No one gets bit because the zombies are absolute shit now.
Yep.
In the changing room, more zombies, and I'm so done. I don't even care now. Like, I didn't care before, but I care so little that we're back to just doing this. You know?
I don't know if you saw it, but when they're running across the field to get to the other door where it's locked, and then somehow the zombie grabs his gun and then drags them. One appears on the top, and then drags them over. But when they're running, one of the girls, she's running and she's shooting down.
Oh my god!
Shooting down with a gun. I spotted about 3 times, and she's not even aiming at anything. She's shooting down, and you can see the bullet just hitting zombies, and they're falling down.
Wow, I didn't see that. Oh, hopefully if I can get the clip, we'll add it into the video overall and see it.
That's why I went back to watch it again on YouTube. I thought, did I see that? But yeah.
Amazing. But we're not done with the absurd moments, because we also get a scene here where a zombie, for some reason, has gained magical powers to leap into the air from a standing position, but then there's a shot in the chest immediately anyway. The head, and immediately. And I was like, okay, why did you go to the effort of doing wires to have him go, and then get shot and dead immediately? Also, I don't understand. We said it already. Why have they even gone this route? They didn't even discuss it, because they could be like, oh, we can't go back and get the bag because that area will be swarming with zombies, but perhaps we can go around them and back in and they won't even know we're there. Right? Say that?
They could have gone and get a bag. Simple. Drive the car in, the zombies go towards the car, you get out and walk around, there's the bag, you walk out.
There's even an easier thing. I would say drive down the road, the bag is small, position the truck so you can see the bag, so it's going to go between your wheels. Have someone in the back with the doors open. Plow through the zombies. As you go past it, pick it up and grab it.
Yep.
That's it. Easy as that. That's all you have to do. Then you could find out because then you can be like, well, it's smashed. Then you know what you have to do then afterwards. That. More time wasted as Jake draws his plan on a chalkboard. We said to you this movie was fucking boring. Did not need this. He's going to go out and open a grate and figures if he covers himself in the zombie gore, it will mask him. And I was like, this is brand new. Why is this a thing? Now, this isn't new in zombies, so I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Here's the problem. He covers his chest, a bit of his face, does not cover his legs, and then leaves his weapon behind. And his excuse for that is gunpowder. I'm like, this is absurd. Like, you haven't even covered yourself fully. It's just dumb. But holy shit, does Alex get horny over his act of heroics? If they'd been alone, she'd have been like, you're not going without me banging you first. Because she's probably like, oh, he's so heroic. What a hero. Remember that timer? I do. It's still counting down, because you must be thinking if you're watching the film, they've run out of time.
Yes.
You would be thinking that. Once out with the zombies, Jake makes his way through the zombies. All while the special forces and Alex talk about how great Jake is. That's what they do. They're like, oh my god, ain't he great? I think he's great too. Do you know if he's single? Because if he's single, I would totally hit that. Fuck off!
Ridiculous.
We didn't see one of the zombified special forces. This is the one who chased the zombie in the white dress. And he sees Jake and seems to sniff him and wonder if he's, seems to think he's not okay. But then hilariously, we get, zombie fighting over food here. Yep. Because another zombie comes along and tries to chow down on his meal. And he's all like, rah, get away. And then when he turns back, Jake's gone. It's like, okay, all right, that's a thing. Meanwhile, Alex and the other one are preparing to be attacked because the zombies are busting through the door. Jake gets to the vent, though, as the zombies bust in, but he's able to get them out. Now, I've rushed through that because it's fucking shit. But I want to talk about why this scene makes no sense. Because there were several things I picked up on here. The vent in question is very thin and tiny. They act like it's a solid block and it's a real nightmare. They could have kicked this thing out with their foot. It's unbelievably simple. But also, they implied, right, that the vent in the room with Alex is locked on the other side of it. That's why they can't kick it out. I don't mean for starters, they could have kicked it out because when Jake pulls it off, it's really loose. Yeah. It actually looks cheap. But they can't, let's say they can't get a purchase because it's a direct line and they can't get up there.
Yep.
It also implies that on their side, that's the only way they can get us is on their side. But we will then see, when Jake's side, that there's two vents because they have to go for a tunnel. They have to go for an actual vent. Yeah. It's not like one vent and then nothing.
Yep.
It's a vent, ventilation system, vent.
Yeah.
So why are you even hiding in there? Get in the fucking vent ready. And you know what? Get in, go on backwards, brace your feet and
hold it.
Hoof!
Yes.
And you'd have been out. It makes no sense. Nope. You could say we're being nitpicky here, but we're not. Because this is a consistent thing throughout this entire movie. So now everyone has a rest. And I'm like, why are you resting? You said there was a timer. Oh my God. More zombies start to come, but they make it back to the lab that's now completely empty of zombies. They're all just left, apparently. Good, except for Lonnie, who tries to attack Special Forces woman. She survives, though, at least until she backs up into Sarah, who bites her on the leg. And like, okay, there you go. The last one's out. That's the last one.
That's it.
Yep, the last one. On her insistence, Alex and Jake go get a new sample. How long is left? According to Jake, minutes, maybe less. Because what he says, he's like, minutes, maybe less. He somehow managed, though, hilariously here, right, to have cleaned all the blood that he put over himself. Did you notice it? Because I fucking did. I was like, how did he do that? Yeah, why did he do that?
Yeah, the shower before.
He's clean. Outside, they offer to take Special Forces woman, but we get a boring self-sacrifice as the music swells and everyone is sad. And I'm just like, bombs? Do you remember the bombs? Alex and Jake leave. Something about a sister gets said. Turns out she's a dead sister or some shit like that. And I just yawned. Yeah,
brother and sister dead. No, those two are going to end up together.
It's supposed to be a heroic self-sacrifice. Who gives a fuck? We didn't see a CGI rocket is flying over the city. And I was like, well, that will get the attention of the press. Anybody see that rocket? Yeah. Alice and Jake are out of ammo and plan to go out fighting with a knife and an axe. But these zombies are so shit now. They are able to kill so many of them with an axe and a knife. However, at least they do kind of get overrun as Alex orders Jake to leave. And he does a heroic jump as the rocket comes down and blows up the building. And I was like, is that it? Is that what I've been waiting for? Is that fucking it?
Yeah, that was the climax.
It's one building. What about the rest of the campus? What about the dorm rooms? Not only that, it's not even the main building, because guess what building that is? The science building.
Yep, so what about the main building?
What about the rest of the campus? I expected the whole campus to be smothered with missiles. There are zombies everywhere. You haven't solved anything. You haven't. You fucking hell.
Everything, man.
Just a wipeout, you know? Fucking fire and ash. That situation. Yep. So, folks, here it is. Remember when Jake said there was 40 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock? As I said, it was very specific, so of course I timed it. This is how long it actually was. It was 18 minutes and 5 seconds, so almost 4 minutes longer. To be fair, I thought it was going to be way, way longer. Yeah, it felt, part of the reason is because the movie's so boring and slow, it felt like it was an hour. I felt like it was an hour, and I thought it was going to be like an hour out. Yeah. But 4 minutes is still incredibly, it's way off. Do not say specific times unless you're going to get it as close to it as possible. Mm-hmm. Particularly when the movie's so bad that this was my fun. This was my fun moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You notice how they do really crap movies always seem to add a timer on it.
I think it seems to be a common theme in a lot of these. I mean, we covered timers in a lot of the Resident Evil movies. Now, I do remember 1 or 2 of them being amazingly accurate.
Yeah,
and I was being quite impressed by that. But not here. We should also add as well, this CGI explosion looks like shit. But by this point, I was like, of course it does. What was I expecting? An actual practical explosion? No. Cut to some time later, and Jake is staggering away from the site. Okay? He finds the body of the Special Forces driver. I was like, oh, all right, that guy. Is he? Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, technically he was still in the truck. Yeah. All right. And then Bart reappears. And I'd forgotten Bart was even in this fucking movie. Because we now have to have this at the end. The movie just won't end. It just won't end. Jake tells him what happened and that he got a sample. Bart demands a sample, and Jake notices that he doesn't seem okay. Bart then describes having to cut off his hand. Why? You had a gun! Did you even try to shoot the padlock? Because my first port of call, before I'm chopping off my hand, is attempting to shoot the fucking handcuff.
Somebody, I think, you could have really tried to rip the pipes off, but done anything.
I feel like if you'd done that and shot at the one at the end of the radiator, you'd have probably been able to break it. Yes. At least the chain. Obviously, as well, because this movie's so shit, his hand cut off is basically him with his jacket over his hand. I'm like, it doesn't even look convincing, guys. Come on.
Your hand's on that jacket.
Yes, he's just like that. He keeps, and this bit goes on forever, going on and on, as they weirdly circle each other. Round in a circle, over and over again. I was like, for fuck's sake, movie, end.
Still Street Fighter.
Yes, Jake realised he was bitten and Bart laughed before revealing it was a mosquito. Apparently, his delay to infection is because of the size of the carrier. And I was like, so we are actually doing a mosquito thing. That is fucking so... Well, we've already said it. It's so stupid. Yeah. We don't have to repeat it. But because this movie loves to wait, he's now out of time. And I was like, good God, that's a convenience, isn't it? He demands a sample again, and Jake hands it over without much fuss. Bart then reveals his real reason for wanting it. Millions of dollars. Get your finger in your mouth.
Yeah.
Jake is all like, hell no. So Bart goes to shoot him, but then gets shot in the back of the head by the surviving Alex, who somehow not only survived the zombies all piling on her, but also survived the building blowing up. But to make it worse, she doesn't even have a scratch on her. She's got a couple of smudges of black on her face. Yep. And I was like, you know what? I don't know how many more times I can say this movie's fucking dumb. But this movie is fucking dumb.
It's obvious, isn't it? The body's protected her from the explosion.
Yep.
You know, if Indiana Jones can be protected by a fridge from a nuclear bomb, she can survive that.
Oh, the zombies piling on you?
Yeah.
Like a shield.
Yeah, a shield. You know, so the blast. You know, who cares?
I'm down. But Bart's not dead, apparently, and he pulls a grenade out and blows the truck up. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing? And for some reason, this is a practical explosion. They actually blew a truck up. Yep. That's weird. But also, like, the heroes are close enough, and they're both just like, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Totally fine. Yep. Stop making everybody fine. But a blood sample gets destroyed here, and I was like, oh no, please not go back in again. No, we're done. And they try to act disappointed and head onwards, arriving at a truck with a dead driver. And I was like, my God, what convenience. That's their ride. They then discuss the possibility of Alex being infected and not knowing it. And I was like, when? Why would she?
Yeah, it would.
Like,
any bites?
Like, you got any bites, scratches? Do you feel it sick? Do you feel it shitty? Because he seemed to actually get sick beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, it's a bit stupid on that. And I'm also just like, why won't this movie end? Why won't this movie end? They then get in the car and wonder if the blast contained it. And I was like, how could it? It was one building. One building. Now, the rest of the campus was alive. We saw the zombies everywhere across it at a certain point in different buildings. Why do you think it was contained? What made you think it was contained?
When this film came out in 2005, yeah?
5.
Oh, thank God. I was going to say House of the Dead 3, the media returns.
It's not happening, thankfully.
Yeah.
It probably deserves another go, but I don't think there's enough interest.
A complete remake, you know.
Not a third film, another go that kind of really perhaps goes into maybe the idea of special agents and things like that, like the games and things like that. Anyway, they drive off and we see them arriving at a city in chaos as a radio broadcast suggests that the infection is spread here. So
how?
That all happened in the time that they were in a camp, so overnight.
Yeah.
That happened. All of this happened. This all happened.
I know how. It's always, isn't it?
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, the one mosquito got out.
Swarms and swarms of mosquitoes flew. That's what that was. Just the one. But you know what the most hilarious thing about here? You have to look at it to notice it. The smoke from the buildings is not moving. It's just like a fucking clipped-on picture of smoke. And you're just like, you know, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even care. But because I think this movie is so bad, I went further. I was like, I'm going to wait to see what they do in the credits. Did you?
No.
You missed the post-credit scene.
Oh, God. What was it?
It is arguably the worst post-credit scene I've ever seen. And I've seen some dumb shit from Marvel and all that. It is about 4 seconds long. And do you know what it shows? It just shows Kurian as a zombie. That's it. It's the same scene of when he walks up towards the chef in it. Just him walking towards the camera. It lasts about 4 seconds, and that was it. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
That's like, oh, House of the Dead 3.
Well, it's implying, I guess, that he survived whatever the thing, but who cares? We just saw the city in ruins. Yeah. There were zombies everywhere, presumably.
Exactly, yeah.
What difference does it make if he's a zombie? It's not like he's a... Like imagine they'd done that, but we see that he was a smart zombie.
Yeah.
And that, like, he's his brain power and he's going to continue his work or do something else. That would make sense. But it's generally just... I was like, what the fuck was that? It's just par for the course at this point. Listen, this is one of the worst video game movie adaptions ever.
Yes.
It's worse than the first House of the Dead. It's worse than Silent Hill Revelation. I'm on the fence about Alone in the Dark because I fucking hate that movie.
Literally,
but it might be side by side, right?
Yeah.
And the joke is we haven't even done Alone in the Dark 2 yet. And that's a stinker too. But this is terrible. It is immensely boring. It is dumb all the way through. It is poorly acted. It's got horrible music. It's got horrible visuals. It's got average at best gore. It's slow. It drags its heels. It doesn't know when to fucking end. I can't think of anything good to say about this movie.
Did you get the figures at all?
Of
no.
Okay,
good. Because surely it didn't make money.
No, I didn't look too far into this one. I knew the notes were long enough without going too. I ignore all of that. But I don't think even the first one was that successful. To be fair, so why would this one? But this went straight to DVD as well. So there's no surprise there.
I mean, unfortunately, can't give mine. This is a straight up 0 out of 10. There's nothing positive about this film at all.
I think it may be a 1 because, alright, let's pick some positive bits out that we can at least say, okay, some of the gore and effects on the zombies are good. Decent. Some of the zombies look good. And some of the gore, particularly when like Lonnie and Sarah getting eaten, looks good.
I'll give it a 1 just for that scene there.
The concept of trying to get blood sample from a Generation 0 zombie is a decent concept. In theory, done better. And how they tie that back into the original is I don't mind. It's nonsensical because of how fucked up the original was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, like, had he taken away in the original and she was becoming a zombie, it would have all tied in quite nicely. But because it's implied that he doesn't know what she's going to become, and now we just see she's a zombie, that is the problem in itself, I think. But I don't mind that either. These are the small positives I can take. What else? There are moments where I inadvertently laughed because of how stupid it was.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to laugh, then it is.
Not over the actual film's comedy moments, but the fact that it was at times so terrible that you're laughing at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's not much else really to go on.
Is that what you want though from a
zombie horror film? No. I don't want it from a zombie horror film. I don't want it from a video game movie adaptation. I don't want it. But this is it. This ends as of right now, as of the time of recording in December 2022. That's it for the House of the Dead. We don't have anything else to cover because there's no other movies. I'm not aware of any animation or anything like that that's been done for it. So kind of... Yeah, it's been a pretty horrendous experience.
It's a shame, really. Cause I mean, imagine if you never played the House of the Dead games. You go, do you know what? I've heard about this game, but I'm going to watch the film first.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Never play these games. You're like, I'm not playing those shit games.
Doesn't work. Absolutely, no, absolutely. Listen, that's House of the Dead 2, or House of the Dead 2, Dead Aim. You got any thoughts in it? You agree with us? Do you think it's dumb, hate it, boring, and stupid? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?